I'd like to thank the organization of the Gaian Congress for inviting me to participate. We've had some collaboration in the past, and it has always been very pleasant. And the subjects are really interesting for me, especially because there is this focus on subtle energy, subtle beings, subtle worlds. But this time they asked me specifically to talk about crystal skulls. And some of you may wonder, what have crystal skulls to do with a Gaian Congress? Well, I would say everything. To begin with, Gaia, Mother Earth, is crystalline in nature. And it is Gaia, Mother Earth, who provides us with the material to make crystal skulls. It's often forgotten that crystal skulls are made from pieces of Mother Earth. And in that sense, help us to connect with Mother Earth. Connect with aspects of her because they hold crystalline energies. Crystalline energies that are the essence of Mother Earth, Gaia. We live in a sea of crystalline energies. We forget that. It radiates out. It's not only about rocks, sand, clay, everything is crystalline in nature and radiates out to those frequencies. So we live in crystalline energies. Yes, crystal skulls have a particular shape. And I didn't know anything about crystal skulls when I encountered my first one. And maybe some of you have read the first crystal skull book I wrote, because then I tell the story how somebody asked me when they saw I was interested in crystals to close my eyes and put something cold and heavy in my hands, and I started to cry. And I've been sobbing there for quite a while, and I had no clue what I had in my hands. So that brought me on this journey. What is it that gave such a powerful emotional reaction in me? And I even didn't know what it is. Apparently, some level I must have known, but not consciously. And it brought me on this journey of trying to understand what are crystal skulls. So I went through the same story. How old are they? Who made them? And everything like that. But what I realized pretty quickly is it's not so much about how old they are. It's more the gifts they give. So crystalline energies create a field. And part of that field are the crystal skulls. So it's like a subfield. Meaning that due to the form, carving them in a human skull, they connect with that field. And that's independent of age. Every new carved crystal skull is tapping into that. So crystal skulls have actually two things. Number one, they're crystalline in nature. But number two, they tap into a specific field that has something to do with the human form of their skull. And what's in that skull? A brain. And what is the brain for? To process information. So it's about information. And there's a lot of belief that the original, let's say that with some care, the original makers of crystal skulls were actually putting information in that field to help us understand what our role is. And the only way to feel whether that's correct is by connecting with them. And when you connect with them, you also connect with the crystalline energies, and crystalline energies and consciousness are directly related. During the presentation, I will say a few things about that, but the key point is to explore that. So a large part will be a guided meditation to explore that relationship between crystalline energies and consciousness. So why is that important? Our consciousness is bound to the physical world, which is crystalline in nature, but there are many other crystalline energies that seem to be etheric. And some people even work with etheric crystals. They are aware that you can bring crystals to a higher frequency, and there are even invisible crystals for us, invisible crystals. And they belong to the same world as the world of the she and other subtle beings. So crystalline energies, when you work with them, can bring us from the physical also into the subtle and expand our consciousness, allowing us to make a deeper connection with those subtle worlds. So there's a lot there. And all of those energies helping us to awaken our potential, also awaken the potential of the she and other humans in the subtle worlds, to be, again, one human consciousness that helps Mother Earth on her journey. Her journey, which is her evolution into a new Earth. An evolution that we are part of, but that every being is part of that. Working with crystal skulls has the advantage above crystals that that subfield is adding something that crystals alone are not containing. Is that better? You have to make a decision for yourself. But in this workshop, the exploration may help you to get that answer. You may wonder how all this information that I'm going to present, where did it come from? Experiences. For a moment, I'm going to turn the computer and show you the crystal skull setup that we have here that has been our training ground. And we are doing meditations now with this group for about 18 years, learning every time. So let me turn it around and show you. So what you see is the setup that we have here. Now you will think, oh, these people are collectors. There is a bit of a truth, of course, in that. But the main reason we have this many is because we tried to understand their energies. And we found out that they are grouped in different ways. And this is something that's not for this workshop, but that is an interesting subject in and of itself. And that independent of the material, they can be put into different groups. And each of those different materials have their own qualities and abilities, their own power, their own gifts. One is no better than the other. Some have more, you can say, variation if you want. And as a consequence of that, they can help you in some ways a little bit better in certain areas. But I love working with all of them because they have their own unique gifts. And the more you learn to connect with them, the more you activate the potential of what they can offer, the more you can be a co-creator, which we are supposed to be, of this new world that we are standing for. A field like this, it can be much smaller. You can have maybe 2 or 3 or 4 crystal and crystal skulls together. You create a field, and all those fields are interconnected, all helping to expand our consciousness, preparing us for this new role. I'm going to turn the computer back around. So this role, we cannot do alone. We need the she and basically every living being on Earth. And all of those beings, visible or invisible, subtle beings or not, are all interconnected through that field of Mother Earth, that field that we call crystalline. Crystal skulls help to connect deeper with that, stimulate our consciousness. And I'm looking forward to work with you during the Congress to explore some elements of that. I always say to people, feel from your heart where you're guided to join the Congress. I think it's worthwhile to do so. Not only because of what I presented, it's just the whole field of what a Congress can create with all of you that makes it worthwhile. So hopefully we will see you there. If not, thank you for listening.